Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new Dexter Resurrection preview video. As many of you know, this new show is coming to Showtime on July 11th. We
Mhm.
are getting ever closer, and as you also may know, we are huge Dexter fans, and we cannot be more excited to get into everything here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the fun things about this upcoming season is that Dexter is going to be with other killers. And so, getting ready for this season, we're looking to get through some of the new cast members, what their purpose is, what their role is, and how they're going to be connected to Dexter in whichever new way, maybe ways from the past.
Yeah, and in the past, we've already broken down Peter Dinklage's character of
Mhm.
Leon Prater, who seems to be the big bad for this season.
Yeah.
And the producers are really going like full tilt when it comes to we want as many big names, familiar faces as possible. And
Mhm.
that brings us today to Uma Thurman, who odds are you probably have at least one or two movies of Uma Thurman's that you cherish, that you remember for the past several decades.
Kill Bill.
Yeah,
I loved her in Kill Bill. I'm not the biggest Quentin Tarantino fan, but I really love those movies. And she's just so badass. I just love her so much.
I feel like Kill Bill is the most iconic role that she's done. I mean, I remember her obviously as Poison Ivy. I'm not saying that that movie was
Yeah,
good, but
no.
I'm saying I remember it very well. It's just that she's really good at action. I think she's very good at playing characters who can be either very bad or very
Hmm.
morally ambiguous. And
Hmm.
I think what's interesting here is that her character of Charley is going to be very associated with Leon, but I think there's a lot to break down here when it comes to what motivates her, what her relationship could be with Dexter. Is this a
Hmm.
possible Dexter love interest?
Hmm.
Or, really big tinfoil hat here.
Oh.
Could she actually be connected to an iconic character from Dexter's past? And could
Hmm.
this be another fun little way for just Clyde Phillips to just have a big Easter egg hunt for all of us throughout this show?
Absolutely.
Okay, we have so much more to get into here, but before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we will be here 3 times a week during Dexter Resurrection. We're going
Hmm.
to have reviews, previews, theories, a lot of good stuff. I mean, Original Sin earlier this year was really great and surprisingly great at times. It's made me even more excited for this show because it's like this is the part we've really been waiting for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all of us Dexter fans, when we learned that Dexter is alive, I mean, it was so exciting that they were going to be bringing back the
Yeah,
show with Resurrection and seeing this cast. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Peter Dinklage. I love him. David Dismulchen, I love him so much. Like, I can't wait for this show, but hit that subscribe button. Like Matt said, we're going to
yeah.
be here 3 times a week. Also, over on our Patreon, speaking of David Dismulchen, we are covering Murderbot, and we are covering Criminal Minds Evolution over there. We'll leave a link for you below in our description if you want to join our Patreon and check those videos out.
Thank you guys so much. We very much appreciate
Yeah.
that. All right, so before we get into too many specifics or theories about Charley, here's sort of the basic what we know. She is the head of security for Leon Prater, Peter
Hmm.
Dinklage's character. She is one time a part of special ops. We know that she has also, according to the official description,
Hmm.
taken on a lot of other high level private security jobs. So she is
Hmm.
coming into this show with a good bit of experience as to what it is she does protecting powerful people. That does not answer the question of what protecting powerful people really means to her.
Yeah, I mean, one of the words they've used in the description is resourceful, and it seems a lot like she might be the person who is going out for Prater to bring in these killers. It's kind of like what's going on over on Criminal Minds. They also have like a network of killers and dealing with it that way. And over here, it seems like they're bringing in this network of killers, these different people from different walks of life that kill in different ways. And with her being special ops, head of security, and that word, she's resourceful, it's like I had wondered how Leon was going to find these people, and that it might be through Charley that he's like, I would like these people. I would like to have sort of a network of killers around me. And she's like, okay, I'll make that happen for you.
I think it's something that makes a lot of sense here because one of the things that I've struggled with the premise of Resurrection, like from the moment we saw the trailer and we saw that all these killers are being brought into Leon's compound, it's just sort of this situation where, okay, how is somebody finding all of these people, especially someone in Dexter who was for a very long time presumed just dead? And it's
Mhm.
just like, okay, you have to have someone who probably has a background and hunting down people, looking things up, special ops at a security, like all of that makes sense. But then also somebody who can hide a little bit in plain sight because Prater's been established entering this show as okay, he's a billionaire. Like anywhere he goes, people are probably going to be like, hey, they're going to do the Leo DiCaprio meme at him. So it's like he needs somebody else to go out there and sort of be his voice. And I think if you're into something that's as dark as rounding up killers, she probably has to have a little bit of darkness in her, or she has to be okay ultimately with what's going on, unless she has like some super secret ulterior motive.
Yeah, she absolutely has to be okay with it. It makes me kind of wonder if while she's bringing these killers together, that maybe she is also a killer. And that's sort of how Leon started to realize that maybe this is something that he was interested in, where he brought her on board. She once upon a time was special ops, but then she kind of started moving into doing her own sort of killing on the side, whatever it is she wants to do. Leon became more interested and it's kind of like, hey, do you know anybody else like that? Actually, I do.
Yeah, I think the origin story of how the two of them met, who influenced who was really
Yeah.
about this darkness first. Maybe they both were, and it was just this is a perfect marriage. But
Hmm.
one other kind of interesting thing here about this character, and if you've been kind of really deep in the Dexter Resurrection weeds for a long time, there were rumors many, many months ago that Gillian Anderson was actually going to be playing this character. I mean, Dinklage was rumored around that time still, and and this has also been picked up by comicbook.com and other people. So this is something I think we can buy into this idea of like, okay, this could have been Gillian Anderson. It is Uma Thurman. I feel like Uma Thurman's a more, I don't want to say obvious person to play this part, but I feel like it's less risky in a way where Gillian Anderson's done some really awesome things. But this is also not really a character I've seen her play before.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen Kill Bill for those of us who have. I mean, Uma Thurman is definitely believable as a head of security, as former special ops, as someone who's going to be able to protect Leon. She's incredible in that role. Gillian Anderson, this is not really a role that she has done before, that I have seen her do before. Gillian Anderson is incredible. Like, her resume is amazing. And
Yeah,
maybe she would have done a good job with this, but I just don't see it.
I
They would
think
have to really convince me. She'd have to be something real special with this role.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best cast for this role, and they may have also been thinking far ahead here, where maybe they wanted somebody who was willing to be a part of multiple seasons. Like that's kind of the confusion right now, is that we know both Dinklage and Uma Thurman are like major, major cast members. Like there are a couple
Mhm.
of the big names that were announced beyond just all the returning people really early on. So it's like, okay, maybe one or both of them is meant to be in more than one season. Maybe they wanted to get all of that sort of locked in, and for whatever reason, maybe Uma was more open and available to go through all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we get into a couple of the bigger questions that I just sort of have here, and we'll start with this. Is Charlie meant to be a Dexter Morgan love interest? And I'm not like sitting here and being like, okay, every woman on these shows needs to hook up with Dexter, but it's just I'm sort of sitting back and thinking, okay, her and Michael C. Hall are close enough in age. I could see something like this happening. And also, something that Dexter has definitely been seeking is this idea of a person who can accept him for who he is, for all parts of him. And I think that's a part of what made the relationship with Lumen interesting. I know
Oh, Lumen.
we are both much higher on the Lumen relationship than like 95% of the fandom, but it just like that was interesting. Hannah had potential to be interesting. That character never really worked for me for whatever reason. I think in a way it did for others, but I do think that there is always going to be this fascination around Dexter being with someone who he doesn't have to keep secrets from.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter's had lots of love interests throughout time here. Everything that happened with Lila and, Rita, of course, and Hannah, Lumen. He does like his blondes. So, I mean, could Uma Thurman be a love interest? I mean, it's possible. I mean, Christian Ritter could also be a love interest, but it makes more sense that it would be somebody like Charley. I mean, they have a couple of things that are similar in their backgrounds. If she's also a killer, they, both have sort of like law enforcement behind them. This might actually be a really good marriage of two characters that have similar backgrounds. And who knows, like we've seen in the trailer him talking about getting back to the code. Maybe she has some sort of a code as well.
I just want to see, and they don't have to rush this, but I've always found Dexter trying to flirt to be incredibly entertaining, even on Original Sin, when it was Patrick Gibson playing it. Watching him try to flirt was very, very fun. Like, this show's obviously not a romance. I don't need to see Dexter hooking up with people in the first 2 episodes that are airing back to back. It's just like, it's another like card that they can pull at some other point over the season.
Yeah.
All right, now here we get to the part that I'm the most fascinated about. Okay. Bear with me, everybody. Special Ops. This is not a huge organization. If you are former Special Ops, you probably know a lot of other people. You know who else is Special Ops within the greater Dexter lore? James Doakes. Okay,
and we know that he's coming back.
Yeah, we know that he's coming back. And I know the whole general thought here is, okay, he's probably coming back as some like hallucination, because we know that that's how Trinity and Prado are going to be appearing. But
yes, he's dead.
Real tinfoil hat time.
Oh my goodness. If you're going to say he's not dead, I'm just going to die.
Okay, I'm not going to say he's not. I wish I could do that. I wish I could put that out there for you, because Doakes is one of my all-time favorite characters. But I think there is a chance that if he and Charley have some sort of history, once again, similar enough ages. Like Eric King's a little bit older than Uma, but it could be he could have been a superior. He could have been somebody who she heard about. I like the idea, though, that maybe we get a flashback or something that shows these two earlier in life, that maybe Doakes actually was around her at a time where he was starting to see her go a little bit askew or sort of think the wrong thing. And maybe that is sort of the Original Sin sort of flashback for Doakes that kind of explains more as to why Doakes was able to pick up on Dexter in the way in which he was on the original show, because he figured it out way earlier than everybody else. And maybe it was just natural intuition, or maybe there is some legitimate reason for it.
Well, and Dexter is odd, and there were a lot of things that made sense for Doakes to make that connection, but he really was the one person that was able to figure it out pretty early on that something just wasn't right there, and he really was just following that pretty closely before he was actually had the confrontation where he figured out exactly what he was doing. But with Doakes coming back here, I mean, yeah, he's, as much as I would ascend to heaven if they were like, and he's actually alive, I don't think that that's what's happening. I do think that it is going to be connected with Angel being like, oh, there's Angela said that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher, and that then of course would tie back into Doakes because he's the person who took the fall for it. But how much more fun would it be if we have Charley actually also mention Doakes and see how Dexter gets rattled by it?
I just think that's a really fun possibility that they can pull out, because in general, the thing we have to remember here is that Clyde Phillips, executive producer for Resurrection and Original Sin, he is the guru for the first 4 seasons of the original Dexter above all else. Like, he's not probably going to be mentioned in a lot of things that are in season 7, season 8. I kind of feel like that's the way why Hannah was handled the way she was, because he wasn't really around for that. But I think, judging from how much he managed to get Brian Moser into Original Sin, I think he's going to try to plant as many little Easter eggs and references. And I think having a way to connect a new character to someone we all know, like instantly the idea that Charley may know Doakes or had some sort of relationship with him, it makes her twice as interesting as it would have been if she's just some random nobody who's just working for Leon Prater.
Listen, they want to have a bunch of spin-offs. Give me a Doak spin-off. We've already talked about the Brian Moser spin-off that I just am here for. Like, let's just make all this happen.
My only question with the Doakes spinoff is, how do you call it anything other than surprise you know what? And then you can't promote the show anymore because it's just too many curse words.
Absolutely. MF, let's go.
Okay, well that's what we have to say about Charley entering Dexter Resurrection. But we want to know from you guys, what interests you about this character? Do you think Charley could know Doakes and like that's a fun way to sort of incorporate all this? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any other coverage, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We are covering Criminal Minds Evolution as well as Murderbot. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.